Today, I want to share 5 marketing tips and tricks that no one's really talking about. Now, these are probably going to be different than the tips and tricks that you're used to because these are a little bit more advanced. But these tips and tricks are what makes a good marketer great and what can make the difference between success and failure with a marketing campaign. And they're a little bit different than your normal tips and tricks because they're not just fads. Like, we use this video that is this long, or use these edits on this video, or click these buttons on Meta to achieve XYZ because this is a new feature they have. Instead of these quick hits, my goal is to get to the core of why your marketing may or may not be working as well as you want it to. But the reality is these quick hits aren't going to turn your business around. You might see a little bit of a spike, but it's not going to be consistent. My main goal with these tactics is to help you think like a marketer. And one thing I promise you is that if you watch this video and implement everything I'm about to tell you, your marketing will get better and you will make more money. These tactics are a bit more complicated, but they're absolutely essential if you want to get this right. But still, a lot of people don't use them. So the very first thing I want to talk about today is something I've heard hundreds of business owners say. And this is something you may be saying to yourself right now. My marketing isn't working. People aren't watching my videos. My Facebook ads aren't working. Or I don't have any visitors on my website. But here's the thing, for most people and most brands, it's not that they have a terrible product or a bad website or that their content isn't great. More often than not, it just comes down to not putting enough reps in, not posting enough content, not spending enough on meta ads, not testing enough on creatives, or not testing enough creatives. Often it's just a quantity issue, not necessarily a quality issue. It's like you're mining for diamonds and you stop just a few inches before the diamonds. If you had just kept pushing a little bit further, you might see that success. Now, a lot of people end up making the same mistake, and honestly, a lot of this is propagated by those companies who are peddling get-rich-quick schemes or, get $1 million tomorrow. The reality is things take time, and if you're posting your first piece of content, your first videos are going to be very humbling. Heck, the first few videos I posted got 0 views. Not even my mom watched them. But if I stopped there, I wouldn't be where I am today. And good things, just like relationships, take time. I was watching an interview with Mr. Beast, and even he said, your first 10 videos are not going to get any views. So stop sitting there and thinking for months and months on end, and just get to work and start uploading. All you need to do, this applies to people who have not been uploading videos but have dreams of being a YouTuber, is make 100 videos and improve something every time. Now that's all fine and dandy, but how do you actually figure out what to test? What's going to have the biggest impact? What is doing well? What could be improved? Well, that's where our next tactic comes into play: measurement. Now that sounds super boring, but let me explain. Just before I dive into how to properly measure your marketing, the 2 biggest pitfalls that we see brands make are not having a system for measurement, and I'll touch on that in just a second. And number 2 is just not measuring correctly. If you don't have a system to measure the results of your marketing, there's no way to determine if you should keep doing more or if you should change up your strategy. Simply put, we need to have a measurement system that really tells us, was this marketing a success or was it a failure? Now, depending on what platform you're marketing on, your metrics are going to be quite different. So instead of telling you the exact metrics we use, I'm going to share our strategies for creating measurement systems instead. We break our measuring systems down into 2 things. Number 1 is metrics, and number 2 is key variables. Metrics are simply just quantitative measurements of a specific business process. We create metrics for each major piece in a system. So it sounds like a lot, but let me give you an example. Our agency, Ascend Media, focuses on email marketing. In email marketing, there's 4 key metrics that we track because there's 4 major pieces to the system. Number 1 is deliverability. Are we getting to people's inboxes? Number 2 is open. Are people opening the emails once they receive them? Number 3 is click. Are they clicking on the emails once they've actually opened them? And number 4 is convert. Are they actually converting and performing the desired action after they open the email? Now, another way to look at this is by creating metrics for each different action that someone has to take. But if someone didn't take a desired action, i.e. they didn't click on an email after they opened it, there's a number of different reasons why they might not have clicked. This is where variables come into play. Basically, variables are the subparts of a metric that can influence results. Again, relating this back to email, if someone didn't click an email, it could be because they didn't see the button. It could be because the link wasn't working. It could be that the design sucked, or it could be that they just weren't interested in the email. So now that you've got your metrics and your key variables, you can create a measurement system. Track your key metrics, and then compare those with industry average to identify where you can just be better. We always start with the metric that is the worst performing because changing it is going to have the biggest impact on results. Again, relating it to email, if you have an open rate of 3%, it doesn't make sense to test out the design because people just aren't opening the email in the first place. You need to fix that open rate because something is seriously wrong. So now that you know this, you're already ahead of most business owners and honestly, most marketers. Now you can start creating your marketing messaging and your strategy. But before you get to what your marketing is saying, you need to understand who your customers are. Not only that, what they like, what they don't like, what their favorite websites are, where they shop, what magazines they read, the language they use, their problems, what keeps them up at night, and other pertinent information about them. We call this avatar building, and I'd recommend building out an avatar or persona prior to even starting with your marketing. It'll make everything else easier and it'll be far more effective. The marketer who best understands their customer avatar is going to win 9 out of 10 times. But where do you start with this? We start with places like Amazon, competitor websites, reviews on websites, Quora, Reddit, and other sites where we can learn more about our ideal customers. AI like ChatGPT can go a long way, but I recommend diving into other places in addition to leveraging AI. Now, once you've built out your avatar, you need to actually craft your marketing message. Because you've already built out an avatar though, a lot of this heavy lifting is already done for you. Great success. But before you dive into crafting your marketing message, a big mistake that we see lots of brands make is just word vomiting all of the features about your product. It took me a really long time to learn this, but people buy because of the benefits your products will provide to them, not the features of your products. I repeat, people buy the benefits, not the features. The legendary Harvard marketing professor Theodore Levitt was famous for saying, "Sell the whole, not the drill." You'll attract a lot more people with your marketing if you sell the whole instead of the drill. But here's the thing, even if you do all of this right, none of this matters unless you're delivering your message at the right time. That's what marketing really comes down to, delivering the right message to the right people at the right time. This is where I recommend using an approach called Omnipresence. Instead of putting all of your eggs in one basket, diversify your marketing efforts, somewhat. Now, there's a fine balance here between being diversified and being spread way too thin. One of the biggest mistakes here I see brands make is just trying to be overly omnipresent and over diversification, trying to be on every single platform. And what ends up happening, unless you're like a $1 billion brand, is that no platform is a real winner. You have 17 half-assed strategies on 17 different platforms. But for a business doing less than 8 figures a year, I'd really recommend like 3 to 4 core platforms. This way, people can engage with you on different platforms at different times that actually suit them. Anyways, I hope this video helped you out and helped you become a bit of a better marketer. If it did, I invite you to like and subscribe. It really means a lot. And if you do have a D2C brand doing at least $50,000 a month in revenue, I invite you to apply to work with us now. There's a link in the description below and it'll take you to an application page and you can apply there. So thanks so much and have yourselves a great day.